Hello there. Okay, question. You have opened your Facebook, and actually, this isn't even a question, but you have opened up one of your social media platforms, and completely out of the blue, you are unable to have access to it. We're talking years and years and years of pictures, connections, life experiences, information, personal information, contacts, clients, but you have no access to your Facebook page. And this happens on average 1.4 billion media accounts are hacked on average every month. Well, today's guest, it happened to her, Michelle Voss. And you know what? It pushed her into another part of her second act. And instead of her second act being her choice, it actually became a choice made by the hackers. She had to reimagine everything, reimagine her community, her career inside, that is how she's represented online. She had to reimagine her company, just all of these things because these damn hackers wanted to go in and rebrand who she was, in essence, basically take over her brand. Her brand. Can you imagine having that happen? Well, listen, I've had this happen to other people, and I'm sure you have too. It's running rampant. So today, Michelle is joining us, and she's going to talk about the grief, the guidance, and the gift that came from all of it. And inside of that, she's going to provide 7 key things that she learned that will be extremely helpful for you should, God forbid, this happens to you one day. So I'm Barbara Brooks, and I am your age-positive, single, childless dog mom to Riley B. You'll probably see her behind me at some point. Speaker and a content creator here inside of YouTube. But if you're listening on the podcast, join us on the YouTube channel from time to time when you can. So I'm an entrepreneur and the founder of Second Act Women, which is a badass community of women, particularly over 40, who are living life, midlife questing, but we're also life is lifing it. And we talk about it all. But inside of this podcast and YouTube, you can find 2 videos every week. You can find my new series called Single, Savvy, and Solo Aging on Sundays, where I'm spilling a tea as a single woman of a dog who is sharing my life at 50 plus, living and ticking off things off of my live life list, because I don't call it a bucket list. You can imagine why. And then on Thursdays, I have the podcast, The Second Act with Barbara Brooks, which you can find everywhere you get your podcast or right here if you're watching on YouTube, where I have my squad of girlfriends and pros and fierce femme fatales and allies who are offering practical business and lifestyle advice for you that you could put into action, consider, all that sort of thing. But I want to tell you, today's show is brought to us by the Cunningham Healthy Lifestyle Clinic. I'm kind of throwing in the Healthy Lifestyle Clinic in between that. It's really the Cunningham Clinic. I have literally lost almost 40 pounds since February, and it's August of 2024. And it's because I've been on Mounjaro, and it has been a lifesaver. My cardiologist has recently told me to go off the cholesterol pills for 30 days. Let's do some labs. And he said, I probably won't have to see you for 20 years. And I'm 57 because I was pre-diabetic. My A1C is better. All these things. Highly recommend the Cunningham Clinic if you happen to be in Denver, Colorado. They are all about functional medicine. She's that East-West functional medicine, board certified. All of her girls are board certified. They're also bilingual. I love that. Sexual awareness treatments. She likes to talk about that a lot. Kim really does. She's great. She and her husband have a great lifestyle, if you know what I'm saying. But also the aesthetics and hormone balancing. I'm on HRT myself, and my energy is through the roof. I just got on it, and it's life-changing. So anyway, my medical weight loss clinic, my medical weight loss program is through the Cunningham Clinic, and I highly recommend them. So let's jump right on in. Did you know that, as I said, that 1.4 billion social media accounts are hacked every darn month. And you know what? It doesn't matter. You could be $1 billion company, like with what just happened, and all of the airlines and retailers and everybody was shut down because of the Microsoft, oh my God, do you know what I just realized, y'all? I forgot to put my lash back on. Okay, let me pull this one on so I look so different. Anywho, that was my squirrel moment. Google reported, found here that I'm reading that 20% of social media accounts will eventually be compromised. And Michelle Voss is one of them. I'm talking to her, as I said, because she lost it all. I'm going to bring her on stage now, and let's talk about her experience. Hello, Michelle. How are you?
I am doing quite well after a few weeks of chaos. Yes.
Girl, okay. First of all, we're striking almost similar hairstyle today. we're you know, curls. The curls are popping. Michelle, you have to back up. So first, let me introduce who and what you do, because this was quite the journey for you that you've been going on. I've had you as a coach. You're a master coach with over 2 decades of experience helping women like myself. Age doesn't matter, although I believe you probably have seen more of us over a particular age than not. But you really help us in our personal lives and our businesses to help us see where we can do, if this is what we're looking to do, is to do better and own our life and own our voice and own who we are, and understanding our innate wisdom and overcoming some of those old patterns that, you know, can persist in women, again, of a certain age. But you help us recognize those patterns, and you keep them, you help us get over, above, and through it so that we can create successful lives, whatever success looks like to us. You also facilitate, which I loved, and you have one coming up this fall, retreats, game-changing visibility map courses, and you do one-on-one coaching for high-achieving women. Am I missing anything?
I mean, you know, 20 plus years of doing this, sure, we've missed some stuff, but that's the gist. Right. That's right. The gist. We're good.
Well, Michelle, I want you to tell us the backstory before we dive into the grief, the guidance, and the gift that came from this. What the heck? Can you give us a visual and think about the idea that people are listening and watching? Give us that visual of what happened, what day was it, and what happened on that day.
Yeah, I would love to be able to say that it all happened on one day, but this was over the course of 7 days. They hacked me 3 times. Yeah, So Saturday morning, I wake up, 7:30. You know how you pop on your phone and you see the message, the Facebook message that says, your password has been changed. If it was you, don't do anything. If it's not you, click this thing. So I clicked this thing, too late. They hacked me Friday at 11:54 p.m. Right. So you're not on social media, you're not on an email, right? So enough time, whatever had passed.
Oh, you and I are probably in bed by then, right?
Oh, girl, please.
On a Friday night.
I know. 10 a.m. I mean, come on. So luckily, I will just say, lucky my husband he's an IT guy, so he's super smart. I don't consider myself a very tech savvy person until now, because I've learned a lot. So I call him in. I haven't even had my coffee. Okay. We have not even had my coffee, but you feel this sense of urgency. It is a panic like no other. I
can't even
truly
imagine.
So we get control though again. So it took about 2 hours, and we were able to go through the back door, blah, 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 get back in. I got control on my account. I was like, okay, crisis averted. We go to breakfast after a crazy morning. Mm-hmm. 4 hours later, I get another notification. Your Facebook page, your password has been changed. So they hacked again. This time, I could not get back in so this was still all Saturday. So I will just tell you that Saturday, I truly went into a state that I have not experienced. I don't even know when. It was, I was numb. Like I was numb. I was walking around like, and just, I mean, my husband was like, he was worried because normally I'd be like fighting and I'm trying and or I'm crying, right? Like I'm having some emotion. And I was like, I don't know.
And you're a life coach. So you're experiencing some of the things that you've probably coached people through.
Well, yes. In this moment of crisis, it felt what it was in hindsight was the level of lack of control of just knowing that somebody else had control of my entire identity, because I am so authentic. I am so open. If, people who have, I mean, I had over 3,500 people on my Facebook account. Over 2 decades of building community through public speaking, organizations, whatnot. And it's just out of your control. And somebody nefarious, right? They're doing something, they're doing it for a reason, right? And you don't know what they intend to do, but they're going to do something bad. The feeling is just that there's a rock in your stomach. I cannot describe it enough. It was shocking to me. Shocking.
I can't even imagine. And the idea, and so that was Saturday. They started it on Friday. You regained it back, your Facebook account back. And then how was the 7 days trying to wrestle with Facebook and others trying to get it back, or literally you got it back again and then they were back after you, or?
Yeah. So they hacked. So again, got hacked, recovered, got hacked again Saturday. I didn't do anything else on Saturday. I said I was numb. I couldn't barely function. Just sick to my stomach. Sunday, I was like, all right, got myself back. I'm like, I'm going after this again. I'm going to figure this out. I'm going to figure out a way to get this control again. I can't even tell you what I did, because Facebook is no help.
There's no human. Yeah.
None. They loop you through this system of, oh, has your Facebook been hacked? Yes. Follow this link. Okay. Go to this page. Okay. And it would circle me right back into zero, into nothing. It literally kept looping and looping and looping. Now, I don't know if that's the hackers, because again, what people don't realize is that Facebook gets hacked. I didn't get hacked. I got hacked through Facebook. Facebook gets hacked. Okay.
Wow.
So Facebook is hacked 100% of the time. It just depends on who's actually having the consequence.
Wow.
Who's the victim this time?
So, you know what's interesting, and I can't believe I'm just now remembering this, because at one point, you had to tell a bunch of us who you're inside of a community of mine. We also were friends on Facebook, blah, blah. And you had to send notices to people saying, hey, if you get, this isn't me, this is me, and blah, 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 blah. You know what's interesting? And so I remember you, and I'm sending messages on your behalf to the community and to the Second Act Women community and blah, blah. And I'm sure other people doing that on your behalf too, because we're like, this woman is going through it. I can't even imagine. But do you know that I remember a late night about 2.5 years ago, Jessica Clark Rowe called me up late night, okay, I say late night, but like 10 o'clock at night. Oh my God, I can't believe I said that. Because late would have been like 1 a.m. Back in the day. But she called me up and she said, hey, you got to tell Lupe. And Lupe was my business partner at the time, still friend. My Lupe site has been hacked on Facebook. Like, what do you mean? She goes, Barbara, I can't even tell you what I just witnessed, but it's burned into my head right now. And it was something completely awful. Little people, if you know what I'm saying, children were involved. And she said it was an absolute disgusting. These humans took over her account and are now broadcasting live something. And I call Lupe, and Lupe's in bed by like 8:39. But I get somehow she answers the phone. I tell her what, by the time she got on Facebook, her account, Facebook had shut her down. So she got hacked by some completely awful human beings who were showing awful things. And she never got back on. So she's just on Insen. For her, which I can't wait to talk to you about this. For her, it was her time to she wasn't really a social media person anyway, but she's never gotten back on. And now she's just doing LinkedIn and Insta. But I remember that happening, and we were all just perplexed. Like, how does this even happen? So do you even know? I mean, because again, as I said in the opening, it can happen at any time, any place. Did you find out even who they are?
So I will tell you. So there's all different types of ways that they're hacking. I mean, I don't know how they're getting in the back doors, but you asked me why I spent so long trying to deal with this. Like in the conversation before, we spent like literally a week, between 4 to 8 hours dealing with this. Part of that was one, trying to figure out how the hell they got in and cleaning up all the back doors. So like being attached to Hootsuite or what, like I was just desperate. Like I am cleaning up and disengaging every back door I could possibly imagine. So that was one way. The other
all
thing
the apps that you were connected to. So you're saying all the apps you were connected to, did you have to go into those apps and disconnect? No, you don't even have access to your to Facebook anymore. So
yeah. No, so let me back up, because I regained access for a short amount of time and was able to clean some things up, but then they got me again. So let me finish this. So I'm out, I'm locked out. I find out what they're doing because I am having people watch, and I can see, you can see your own page if you go in on the whatever. I can see what they're doing. I will tell you the first thing that they did was they made a generated AI post that was so well written and written in my voice. Bing, 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 bing. Fucking whisters. I don't know if we can cuss here, but terrifying. It got more likes and more comments than most of my posts ever. So I was like, okay, the hackers are a better writer than I am, but apparently
not in chat.
Okay, so they did that. So now they're getting all this engagement. I will also tell you, and this sounds so conspiracy theory, but it's the freaking fact. They removed one post, and you know what that post was?
What?
I posted on July 4th. I made a post about Project 2025. And that was the only post that they removed.
No.
Yep. Just going to say that and leaving it as the facts. I don't know. It's just a fact. So they make this generated AI post. It has all this engagement. The very next post they make it said this. It said, and I have screenshots of all of this. It said, hey, if you're interested in a financial opportunity, DM me. I'll send you some deets. Right? So they're trying people, right, to whatever, engage with them in Bitcoin or whatever the hell they're doing. I don't know.
Wow.
Now, some people fell for it because I had already emailed my list about getting hacked. I had texted every single person I had a phone number for about it.
Yeah.
And still, I had people fall for that. So I was like, okay, they're up to no good. But then, so I'm spending hours in the back end trying to clean things up, trying to figure out how they got in. Again, not even totally realizing at that point that they have hacked Facebook. They didn't hack me personally. They hacked Facebook, right? So I finally get back in. It was a freak of nature. One of those loops. Yes, I got it back. One of those loops that had me spin and spin and spin. All of a sudden, a new page showed up. Again, I don't know how. I literally don't know how this is happening. But you don't feel that. And I got into the back end of it, and I tried to remove the emails that they were getting. I tried to clean it all up. They had taken off my phone number. They had taken all that information off. So I am now spending 8 hours a day cleaning up the mess they made, because they've also friend requested over 300 like bots, I'm pretty sure, right?
Oh my gosh.
I mean, I'm cleaning everything up. I had access to the account for maybe 2 days tops.
Okay.
And then they hacked me again. And this time they wiped out all access. Like
Oh my gosh.
I'm telling you, and it's been that way now for a couple of weeks.
Wow.
They have cloned my profile. So they're actively not doing anything with the main page right now, but they have, if you go on Facebook and you search for Michelle Voss, there used to be like 4 Michelle Vosses. Now there's like 18 because they have used my pictures, my name. And and are now friend requesting people pretending to be me.
This is so scary.
It's been nauseating because you also feel like
violated.
You feel violated. You feel, and I hate to use this word, but it feels like that. They have taken my brand and my account and they've raped it. Like they have taken what they find valuable and just then left it for dead. I mean, It is sickening.
This is sickening. And I just pulled it up. So as you're, so I'm going to show it. I'm showing, and tell me what was so now let's go in on the grief part, because you had to be grieving. Here's what I'm showing, by the way, Michelle.
Yeah. So if you, so the 4 friends is, so this is the other thing is, and this is, I'll tell you in my tips, that one right there where it says 4 mutual friends, the top one.
Yeah.
That is my current real one, because you have to create a new profile in order to report your old profile. It's so janky, but it's just how it's done. And I'm going to share that in a minute. But the rest of those, not me.
Holy moly. And then they took your picture away.
Well, and then one of them, they have taken my Sedona retreat photo and used it as their header.
Oh, that's creepy.
Yeah.
That's just plain creepy.
Yeah.
So the grief part, talk to us about the grief before we go into the tips.
The grief is, and I use the word grief because, I mean, like I could literally cry right now because it really is that. Like when you have built, I'm an entrepreneur and I've been an entrepreneur for 30 years. Like when you take the time and energy to do all the public speaking that you've done and all the connections that you have built, and you have actively been engaged, this is a trusted community. My people trust me. And it's just gone. And then you think about the Facebook memories of your dog when your dog passed, 5 years ago, and like these things that pop up, right? Like that just gets taken away.
Yeah.
And then to feel this sense of like urgency to stop the bleeding of what they're doing. Like, that's why I was like emailing everybody and texting everybody. Cause it's like, I don't want them to go after my people. Like I am fiercely protective.
Right.
But it's like, all you can do is run around going like, be careful, be careful. But I mean, it has been shockingly devastating. Wow. And when it's taken away, like that's the other thing. It was ripped out from under you. And I will also just say too, it is my marketing. I don't email my list anymore. I don't do nearly the public speaking I used to do.
Right.
I've built a community. I've rested in that. And it literally got ripped out from underneath me and left going, now what?
And you're left with people saying, who didn't know, who maybe didn't take the time or didn't get the message or didn't know at all what was happening to your account, probably thinking, what the heck is going on with Michelle? Because that is, oh, by the way, is that other account that they took, is it still up? or I didn't see it pulled up. Is it still there?
So what's interesting is I'm surprised it didn't show up right there. I'll have to go back and look because Facebook took it with everybody reporting, including myself. I had multiple friends report it. It disappeared, and I air quote that because it disappeared, but I don't know. I still don't know. Did Facebook take it down to say, let's review?
Right.
Or did the hackers take it down?
Right.
Because then one day it popped back up and I was like, but no notification from Facebook saying, hey, we reviewed it. It's not hacked, whatever. No notification from them. And it just showed back up. So to be honest, maybe they took it down again. I don't know. This is what I mean. I don't know. I don't have control.
And that's the scary part is exactly what you just said. You don't know if it was Facebook or if these mother truckers, I said with a trucker, with a T, still have access to who you are or still pretending to be Michelle Voss,
Right.
which is eerie. It's eerie and
I know.
scary at the same time that somebody is out there in the world, because we obviously don't know who or what they are representing you and your personal brand and your
Right.
business brand.
Right.
So
Right.
the guidance part of it, you had some really solid tips because you're one of the ones who weren't lucky enough to, you were lucky to get it back a few times, but you weren't lucky enough, it sounds like, to maintain it, to sustain it and keep it.
Mhm.
So what are the things that you can say to us? Because what's scary is you said you had 2F. Authentic, I can't. I don't know.
Yes, I know. I always talk about that term. Authentication.
Yeah,
setup.
authentication.
That.
Yes.
I had that.
Two-factor authentication.
Right. But the thing about that is your
Yeah.
trusted devices don't register. So like my phone and whatnot, and I just set up my email setup, or I'm sorry, my email, yes, notifications, and my phone number. And the first time they removed, because if they're in the back end, they're an admin, they can add or subtract whatever the hell they want. So they removed it. They removed my phone number.
Wow.
So then when I got it back again, I set up the authentication, the word we can't say.
Yeah.
I used the app, right? So there's a specific app. Yes. Thank you. That to lower it for people to see it. So I used that. I had my phone number back in there. I had a second email address back in there, whatever. None of that worked. They hacked it. It's hacking. It didn't work. So yes, do it because maybe it was set up to that level in the very beginning. They would have never gotten in. I don't know, but definitely do it because go to all the extra steps. That is my number one advice.
2FA it.
Say that again.
I said still 2FA it, which, by the way, more than a few of us did that when you sent that out. I immediately, and I know other people that did the same thing, who went in and said, oh my God, I didn't even think to two-factor authenticate my socials, because we do it all the time for our other accounts.
Right.
But I don't think many of us would have thought, and I made when I got into just moments ago, this was my 2F to get into my second Act Women Instagram. Even though I've been using this desktop, it's still, because I set it up because of you, the first time going in, it asked me for my 2F. It wouldn't even let me into my account, which I appreciated, obviously.
Yep.
So, so you're saying go in and do that immediately. That's probably number one.
Absolutely. Take
Okay.
Absolutely. There's no reason not to. And yeah.
What are the 6 other things that you have on this list?
So the other thing was have your friends report it for you, because so have your friends report it, because I know that it flags it. Even if Facebook doesn't do anything, it gets flagged, right? And again, it can be, I've heard so many stories now of people getting hacked. One like Lupe's, right, where they had like child pornography on that site.
It's basically what it
Facebook
was.
will
Yeah.
usually shut that down right away. They
Yeah.
won't shut a profile down if I just say someone's impersonating me or they took my account.
Yeah.
Right. Like it's a weird thing. Have your friends report and have as many of those friends report as possible. And though what you also don't want to do is your friends you don't want to tag. It's always weird for me to say profile, not like my main profile is the one that's hacked. Let's just use that for terminology. The main profile. Don't have your friends tag the main profile because the hackers then block your friends.
When they're turning it in. Is that what it is?
Exactly.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
Right. So your friends need to do it on the down low.
Wow. Okay.
Okay.
Wow.
Make sense?
Yep, it does actually. It does.
Yeah, because you don't want them blocked because because that's how I was getting my main information. Like my friends were able to screenshot things and like, tell me what's going on with my profile. So then the other thing you need to do, which is just bizarre to me, it's so weird, is you have to create a new profile. Like I had to just make a new profile in order to report that my old profile was hacked.
Okay. Why?
It's like, how about an email address that I could, send Facebook? But, so I will tell you. So I'm going to tell you this too. So with all this going on, now we're afraid of, because again, hackers, now they have phone number, email address, your birth date, right? They have things from the back end of stuff. So we are looking at fraud, identity fraud in general, right? Now you're looking at what are they going to use that information? Are they going to sell that on the dark web? Yada, yada. So we have a company, ID Shield, I believe it's called, that we use for things like that. And I called them and talked to a woman about all of this stuff. And she said a couple things. She said, one, in the business that she's in, which is identity theft, she said, I no longer have Facebook and I will never have Facebook because it is one of the most hacked and like it's just rampant. It's just rampant. She said it's crazy how many people are getting hacked through Facebook.
Okay,
it is just not protected. Facebook has one of the worst cybersecurities possible. And I'm just, this is all secondhand, but
yeah.
She knows what she's talking about. She's in ID Shield protection. So yes, you have to create a whole new profile again, which is just bizarro, but just do it because the sooner you report stuff, the better. I did eventually get an email. It's support@facebook.com. You can't find that anywhere. So that's why I'm sharing that information.
That's good intel. And it's spelled out, right? Facebook.
It's spelled out. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. That's good intel. I'll put that in the show notes.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay.
And then the other thing is my friends, one particular, because she just signed up for it. She's like, I'm going to take screenshots of your friends. And the reason being is because if I truly have to start from scratch, then I now know, and I can just see, like she literally took screenshots, 8 people at a freaking time, and she put them in a folder for me.
That's a good friend. Wow.
Oh my God, she's one of my best friends. And I can open that folder and I can contact those people or,
or re-add them to your new Facebook.
Right. Or whichever I decide to do, which I honestly haven't decided if I'm going to ever be on it really again.
Wow.
Right. So, but that's something to think about because it's gone. The other thing too, is I will tell you, I've already started to do this is because I'm on Facebook through a new profile, I can view my old profile. And I'm going through the photos and my videos and downloading the ones that I know that I don't have stored on my desktop and things like that, because we have a lot of things that are on Facebook that we haven't necessarily put on other, up into the cloud and whatnot. That can
And do
just
you
go away.
know, now because of you going through what you did, you went through, and then I told you also when this went down, another friend, literally a week before you, a lawyer friend of mine, Cynthia, had the same thing happen to her. She never got it back. So when it happened to you, that was like, I better do something. But also I discovered, I think people should know, I was able just last week to download every single file, every single photo, video, and it's now, I think I dropped it into Google Drive. But there is a place inside of Facebook for you to be able to do that.
Yep.
And by the time this show is on the podcast, I'll find the link. I'll find exactly the screenshot of where to find this. But I had to do some digging. I had to go in and in and in and in to find this one piece. And it was actually on my phone that I found it. So that's so I wanted people to know, go ahead and now.
Yes.
But we have 10 years, Facebook's been, and we were some of the first adapters to it. So that's a lot of content.
It's a lot of content. Yeah, absolutely. Go in. What's a great advice is go in and download all of your information. It's right there. You absolutely can do it. You just have to be an admin. You just have to be able to get into the back end. Yeah. Absolutely. Yes. Yeah. And I will say, just another tip is, I did this, but it is, again, I think the way AI works and just how subtle things will be is never click on anything that is just not 1,000% trusted. We just do, I'll shop some ads, I'll pop on that and just, right? You just feel relaxed, you feel relaxed, you feel comfortable in that Facebook world, that Facebook land, and we're right. And then bam.
You're so right, and especially if it's on somebody else's page that we trust, or being served a retargeted ad that we think is a safe ad, but it turns out maybe it's not, because AI has discovered what we're looking at or looking for.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's
really just trusting people. And you're very trusting. You're good, you're a good human. So you're like, it's Facebook, like you said.
Right. And then the last thing is, do not put all of your eggs in the Facebook basket or any particular basket. I have not emailed my list. I've emailed them now 3 times in the last 3 weeks. Prior to that, a year. It's been a year since I had emailed my list, and the list is the only thing that you all actually own. You do not own any of your social media accounts. You do not own any of the content that is on your social media accounts. You don't even own your photos anymore, because if I can download my own photos from someone I'm not even a friend with, right? I mean, this is the reality of it.
So true.
Anyone could have downloaded my photos. You don't own them anymore.
Your face could literally be on Tinder right now. Some woman could be pretending to be Michelle Voss, but it's a different name, but it's your face. We all watch Catfish. We know how that goes. You're right. Oh my goodness. Well, I just can't. I keep going back to how odd and weird and strange and icky it is to know, and the violation feeling that you had felt. Yeah. And I understand that grief and your dog and those memories that were served from years back that now is being served to some other jack, some other asshole, because they decided they wanted your account. Right. And it, as you saw, and 1.4 billion accounts every month are being hacked, which is a scary number.
Yeah.
And you happen to be one of them.
The thing too that the Identity Shield gal said, she goes, you need to remember, she said, Facebook is not just in the United States. She said, if you think about, again, the cybersecurity level that they would have to have, it's in multiple countries. So they are dealing with billions and billions and billions of people using it. So yeah, they don't care about you. They don't care about me.
Wow.
So when it's gone, it's gone.
It's gone. Yeah.
Now I will say, I'm not going to recommend them because I haven't used them yet, but I have been recommended a company, and the irony of the name is called hackers.com.
Oh my Lord.
I know, hackers.com. They have helped actually a couple people that I do know get their account recovered. One of them was a similar situation of Lupe's, where child pornography was up on there. Facebook shut it down, and it took 4 months.
But they got it back.
Yeah. So.
Oh, I wonder how much did that cost? Do we know?
For her, it wasn't that much. It was only like $400 or something like that. It wasn't in the bigger picture. So I am gonna go that route. So I'll keep you updated if anything changes.
Please do. Please do. Because I'm gonna I'll put them in the show notes after I do a little digging and see the reviews, because that could be good, and it would be worth it for someone like you and I and others, quite frankly, who do have thousands. And these are, the pictures alone, forget about the context, right? Just the videos and the pictures and the family photos and the experiences and oh my gosh, that would be worth it. That would be worth it if they do. So let us know how that goes. Let's go into, as we close this out, I really love, now this is a life coach in you. I love that you found the gift in it all.
Absolutely.
There's always gift and grief. There can be a gift that can be found in a lot of things. And I like what you said about, your branding, your reimagining. So share with us those gifts that you did find after you went through the grieving. It sounds like you're still grieving because you were still tearing up. So you're still in it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But share with us that gift.
Yeah. Well, one is I'm more tech savvy than I realized. So that was one. I was like, I am not as stupid as I thought I was when it comes to tech. because my adorable husband, who is the techie guy, he left for a work trip the following day. So that whole week of me dealing with all of this, it was me and myself.
Was Michelle Voss the tech savvy?
Myself. So that was a bonus. One of the other things was I did realize that there was a little bit of an addiction. Yeah. Okay. They don't call us users for nothing.
Okay. Wait, back up, life coach. I love that you just said that. Say that again.
That they call it for a reason. Yeah, we are literally users. It's a drug. The algorithms are literally designed for dopamine hits. Look that up. I didn't make that up, truly. There's actually a Netflix movie or show about it too. I can't remember the name of it right now. It'll pop up later. Anyway.
I couldn't finish watching it. It was because I'm a Facebooker and a social media queen. I know exactly what you're talking about. It came out during COVID.
Social Dilemma, the name of it.
Yes. And it was very popular because obviously everybody was TikToking, and social was really blowing up during COVID because we didn't have anything else to do. And that movie came out, and I got through half of it, but I do recommend it. It's scary.
You need to watch it because at the very end, every single CEO of corporations higher up who deal with all this stuff, they do not let their children have any access to it whatsoever because they know what it does. So yes, I was addicted. I full on own that. During commercials, I pick up my phone, right? Like it's an addiction. So when that goes away, you have to be with that. You have to be with the discomfort of what that void, what that filled for you.
So Michelle, I'm curious. And I know I keep going back to this because you're actually both. I keep calling you life coach. You're both business and life. Question is, what did you replace it with? What have you discovered? What are the fun things, or what are the things you're doing instead? Because you're absolutely right. A lot of us will sit in the middle of if it's a commercial, it's like, okay, social time, or okay, Reddit time, or okay, let me just see whatever. Shopping, online, Amazoning it, whatever it may be. What did you replace it with? Or maybe you didn't replace it with anything. It just
I was gonna say you're not gonna like it. I replaced it with feeling the discomfort. I really do believe that our biggest problem in society is that we're not okay with discomfort.
Wow.
Because if we were okay with discomfort, we would be able to have a bandwidth to handle so much more than
Yeah.
what we do.
That is so interesting and yet true.
If you want to deal with food addiction, you got to sit in your discomfort. If you've got to deal with the shopping addiction, you got to sit with your discomfort. Like you can't replace it with something else. You have to sit with discomfort.
I see what you're saying. It's not the right thing. The right thing is not to replace it. The right thing, as you're saying, is to own it, feel the feels. And then I guess, yeah, the word replace, I get what you're saying. That wasn't the correct thing. It's yes, I see.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What else? Because you had to reimagine. It was almost a blessing in disguise, you said.
Yeah. I mean, this is the other thing about that. So sitting in the discomfort actually allows us to then just be and letting that information in. So I would just say when my retreats are unplug and tune in, it's like if you unplug, you actually get to tune in. So there's these words keep coming back in so many different forms. So as I'm sitting in my discomfort, not just only the grief and the anger and all the things, and then not having the device, right, to fill some voids, it was like, wow, like, okay, so what is this? And the whole other thing too is, as a coach, we're classic reframers. Like, there is a philosophy out there that life happens, like it's either happening, like, did this happen to me or for me?
Ooh, yeah.
Did this happen to me or for me? And so I was like, well, what if this happened for me? And you just stay with the question.
Yeah.
You don't have to answer it.
Okay.
But it's like, what if this happened for me? So I sat in my discomfort with that question. What if this is happening for me? And I will tell you then, so my morning practice is I journal and I do my oracle cards and I be with myself. Yeah. And in then that process, all this old and new information, the whole, when I say old, it's like me getting back to basics. Like, yeah, because before I built the 3,500 followers through public speaking and events and all the things I've done over the course of 2 decades. Right. What was it before that? And before that, it was community connection. It was doing women's circles. It was doing retreats. So, I mean, I'm back to doing retreats. Like, it was these things that actually cultivated real, authentic connections. As you know, Barbara Brooks, this is what you are about as well. Yeah. That's what actually matters. In this Facebook, the other beautiful thing I realized about that is I have been lazy. I have been lazy because Facebook gave me the dopamine hit of connection. I would put something out there and people responded and I felt connected. Yeah. But I wasn't actually connected. Not really.
Wow. Yes, you're right.
It's a false sense of it.
Yes, because when we're on our socials, sure, we may be bantering back and forth with comments or this, that, but it's not as if we're having coffee and reading each other's cues and our body language and understanding and like literally picking up what they're putting down, in essence, because you're live with a human body versus behind our keyboards. And then we're up. There's a comment, we're up. There's a comment, we're up. Yeah.
Right.
Wow.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. The cultivation, which I've always that's one of my favorite words in business. It is about cultivating relationships, realness. I'm not going to say authenticity because that's overused, but it's all the same. Yes. And so have you found yourself doing more copies? Or what I loved is that you even, although it didn't work out because we gave you the wrong location, you came down from, so we're in Colorado, you came down from the north to be with us, with insiders during our social work, which is our time to get together and cultivate relationships and get to know each other while working, and then happy houring afterwards. And it didn't work out because, some things had happened.
Yeah. Yeah. But that's exactly why I did it.
That's it. Yeah.
That's exactly why, because right. I've been meaning to come. This is what I'm saying, right? We keep meaning to do these things.
Yeah.
And then we don't do it because we're getting this surface level of connection that feels just enough for us. That we're like, yeah, we're good. I'm good. I'm good.
Yes.
And then when that surface level goes away, you go, okay, yeah, I have my core friends. I have people who have my back. That was another huge gift. I got to say, oh my God, like my girls got me, like you got me. My friends got me. Like I knew that I was not alone in this at all. And so that was
people cared for you, and that people understood your plight. They understood, and now they're going to understand the grief, which I'm sure your girlfriends understand now. But yeah, that had to be sort of kind of like, oh,
yeah,
I'm not alone in this.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But it's the thing is that that's why I was like, no, I'm driving to Denver, to be in connection, to be with other humans.
Yeah.
It is really interesting to, again, when you can sit with that discomfort, what really starts to bubble up. And if you just let go of, okay, like yes, it happened.
Let go.
Who knows if the profile is up today? It was yesterday. I don't know anymore. I don't know what I'm going to do if I ever get it back. Right. Still don't know if I'm going to, what I'm going to do to be in the groups or what. I don't know all of the details yet. That's not the point to know. I think so much that we get into a do mode. And I think anytime we are in a crisis situation, however big or small, I think our first step is to just be in it and to see what is there for us from it. Like instead of trying to just always solve it. So that's where I am now. I know that there is a resurgence of what I did 15 years ago to build my public speaking and all of that. And I'm not necessarily interested in doing it the same. I'm not interested in doing it the same way, but there's a core energy there that is really beautiful. And I think a lot of us, if we stop and think back to the basics, I'm just going to say this because I just had a call with a client right before our session here. And we were talking about women in their 50s. Mm-hmm. They're reaching a point of like, yeah, but what next? Like, what is the thing? Right.
That's right.
And sometimes we get to choose that. Like sometimes we get to sit and go, what do I want to do? And sometimes something happens that makes you go, oh, I no longer have that thing that I was doing. So now what? Right. And it feels, there's a lot more feels, I think, in that one. But both are really beautiful because I think there's something really powerful in this stage of life.
Yes.
That we're all being called up to do. I don't know exactly what that means.
Right.
But I believe in the energy and I can feel it and I know it's happening. So I know this is happening for me. I do. I'm good with that now.
That makes me so happy.
I don't wish it on anybody.
Yeah.
Anybody, but if it does.
That makes me happy for you because I know I don't know how you still must be feeling and all the SH that you did have to go through over. And that was also, by the way, time away as a solopreneur, time away from your business, which revenue. They affected your revenue potentially.
Absolutely.
Because now you're being the tech person inside of your company, having to work through all of this. Then you've got the mental. And you've been through it. And I love that you're actually coming. I wouldn't expect anything less from you to come, through it and see the light, so to speak, the lighter side of it. And you're going to be able to laugh about it eventually as well. But I appreciate you. And I'm really happy you shared this story. I can't wait to hear what the reimagined Michelle Boss master coach is going to be to come. But your sisters in Second Act have your back as soon as you are ready. I'll promote it as well. And do you want to tell them where they can find you, Michelle? as we come
Yes.
to a close? Yeah.
Yes, I would just, my website is the best. It's Michelle@michellevoss.com. I do have a retreat coming up in September. I've got one spot left. And the next one will be in April in Sedona, Arizona. And so basically, if you go to my website, again, Michelle@michellevoss.com, if you go to services, and you can find everything that is there, and you can reach me pretty easily. I would say it is interesting if anybody is thinking about, I just want everyone to imagine this for a second, is that if all of your socials went away and you did have an opportunity to recreate your socials, what would show up differently for you? So one of the things I'm thinking about is, so I do freeform movement and music meditation. Like, that is something I've done since I was a teenager. And that is not something that I lead with. And yet it's a huge embodiment practice that I do. So I'm sitting with what actually wants to get revealed in this second act with social.
Ooh, I like it. And that's a powerful question to ask us, because again, we've all been on social for 10, 15 years. I don't even know how long it's been now, at least almost 15. It seems like it. That's a great question to ask, is how would you show up? What is your personal brand, your business brand, all of that? How does that align with the values you have of today? Because even when we started the socials, we were different. If we were to go back to see what we were posting 10 years ago, way different than what we've been posting today, and showing how we show up today. Well, I want to thank you. And I ask those of you that are listening, her last name is B-O-S. Don't put two S's. It's Michelle with two L's, MichelleVoss.com. And tune in Sundays to my Single, Savvy, and Solo Aging, my new series and video shorts on life as a solo ager, single, childless dog mom. The good, the bad, and the really fun. As I tick things off of I think, Michelle, you know this. I'll never call it a bucket list. It's my live life list, because I don't think about dying as I'm having fun. So that's on Sundays. You can join me next week, or every Thursday. I drop a new either live or recorded podcast. And as I always like to tell people today, remember that if you're in your 40s, they're fabulous. The 50s, we are fierce as can be. And if you're in your 60s, I'm going to tell you what, you are a force. And so believe and own your age and love it, because aging is living. And stick around, Michelle, until the very end, after the end of the stream. And thank you, everyone, for watching. Have a beautiful day. I hope you learned something today.
Thank you, Barb.